Hey, domestic tourism, you up? I don't know why I wrote that. That was a terrible intro already. Business leaders have urged the government against go-to travel, which I'm happy about. I'm surprised, to be honest, because it's the business guys usually aren't sensible and don't do sensible things, and they would like push the government to do stuff that will kill people. Maybe they've started to realize that people catching COVID again and again and again isn't really a great idea. They're actually worried about New Year's. New Year's in Japan is the biggest travel season for domestically. It's when people go visit their families, they go to their hometowns. This is a big deal. They want to, so they're saying if you're going to do go-to travel, you should offer smaller discounts for the New Year's season and make sure. And then they made a very interesting suggestion, which was like the government should start to enforce flex time for companies and stuff so that people could travel during the week, as in off-peak hours. And this would reduce sort of the load on the roads. This would reduce any sort of close contact on trains. This would mean less risk overall. This is surprisingly sensible. And I don't know what to make of it. It's almost like I'm shocked that there's a bunch of people out there who are making sensible recommendations, which makes me then think, oh, the government's not going to do this. They're going to try to get go-to travel going as soon as possible. These business leaders are saying what they want is sustainable growth in the tourism industry, which again, if you want sustainable growth, people have to not get sick and die, or just not get sick. That would be nice too. The government is proposing the go-to travel come back in February, which actually falls in line with what these business leaders are asking. The new go-to travel campaign. So the big problem with the go-to travel campaign was people were getting discounts and they were traveling, and it was spreading coronavirus. Because like, let's say I have coronavirus. I go to another prefecture. I bring my coronavirus with me. I start spreading it to a town that didn't have it before. Boom, you have a little outbreak in your town. The new go-to travel should or will include compulsory virus countermeasures. Now, at first I was like, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything, because a countermeasure could just be like they ask you if you have coronavirus and you say no, and then that's it. They're like, oh, good, have fun. They're saying proof of vaccination or a negative test when you check into accommodations, which precludes that you didn't have coronavirus on the train on the way in. But at least that's something, because if you know you're going to get rejected because you don't have proof of vaccination when you check in, you might be more likely to just get the proof of vaccination, and which means you would be vaccinated. Japan is now at 74%. I actually maybe wrote down the stats. Oh, I did. That's the next story, so we'll just do that right now. The go-to travel campaign will cover up to 50% of costs, or up to 20,000 yen per person, depending on whichever comes first. You don't really need to do the song, but I set it up, so let's do it. 91.5% of people who are included in the program for, this is a bit convoluted. Basically, they plan to get everyone vaccinated, and they have had 91.5% of the 2-dose vaccine has been completed or will be completed by the end of November. The next plan is boosters. But that doesn't mean 91.5% of the people in Japan have gotten 2 vaccine doses. So I'm a little confused. I guess it excludes kids, because my son got it, but my daughter's too young. 74.7% of the people in Japan are fully vaccinated now. Yamagata has the highest vaccination rate at 81.3%. So I assume Yamagata is, the best place in the world right now. That's coming up close to Canada, Canada being the country with the most vaccination rate, or the highest vaccination rate, at 75.1%. So Japan, by the end of November, actually might be matching Canada, which is a good target. The United States, since that's going to be a measure everyone's interested in, 57.4%. Primarily, there's some stylish news for you. I guess that would be a blooper that would go on to the feed and make me viral on the internet. I dropped my pen, but it's titanium. So you know what? I dropped my pen, but it fucked up the floor, not the other way around. The U.S. has 57.4%. Again, and that's primarily political. I mean, America, you just get your shit together. I'm sorry. All these people who are like, my body, my choice, but then a woman can't have an abortion. What a fucking equation I've put together there. Look, America, if I could just talk to you for a second, one-on-one. The vaccination is not some kind of secret plan to mind control you or anything. It's not singling you out. It's just not. Scientists, the sheer volume of scientists involved in creating the vaccine in multiple companies and whatnot, they don't care about you that way. That's it. That's actually the thing you need to think of or understand. The scientists, the government maybe has like a dark scheme and whatever, but they're not effective enough to put it into action. And the scientists, they don't want to control you. They don't care. It's just trying to stop a disease. That's it. So chill the fuck out. And masks are fine. Like, I'm actually, when pandemic is finished, going to continue to wear a mask on high allergy days because it filters out the allergens and then my allergies are less. That's what masks do. And all this it fucks up your breathing and stuff. Surgeons do it for 20 to 30 hours straight when they have a really heavy surgery. They're smart people. Smarter than you. If the person I'm talking to right now who's actually listening to this going like, I don't know, Peter, it doesn't seem right to me. The person who wears a mask for multiple hours a day, every single day, is smarter than you and remains smarter than you after wearing the mask. I guess the problem is you're so fucking stupid you don't understand that someone else is smarter than you and you should emulate what they do. That was a very weird tangent I just went on. Thanks, America. Thanks for listening. I don't know what I think maybe just thank you for your attention. Comic Kit, back to Japan, because that's what Ninja News Japan. This isn't Ninja News America. If I did make a Ninja News America, that'd be a shitty show. It'd just be like every other show. Only, I guess, maybe I would make it, but I don't know. Late night shows have got American news covered as far as I'm concerned. Comic Kit is a Japanese thing. I've just lost all my words because I'm all furious at Americans who won't wear masks. It's not a big deal. That's really the issue. It's not a big deal. You're not being rebellious by not wearing a mask. You're not standing up for your rights. Comic Cat, I think this is try number 3 to get this story started, is a convention for comic artists, not professionals. So it's people who make their own stories and stuff. Professional comic, actual comic companies will overlook you using their characters in this situation if you sell small batches. And you can buy, this is a place we buy stuff. It's really neat. It's a huge nerd mecca. It happens twice a year. They do a summer one and a winter one. They said, I think I actually did this story last week or 2 weeks ago. They said that if you want to come, we recommend you get vaccinated, but we're not going to require it. Now they've been like, that may have been a tad generous. You now need proof of vaccine or a negative PCR test. Pre-pandemic, so I think it was 2019, they had 750,000 people attend over 4 days. Now they're going to limit it to 55,000 people per day. And there are actually 2 venues, and you can only go to one venue in one day. So that's actually splitting that 55,000 into 2. I guess it won't 100% be even, but primarily splitting it into 2. You can go to one venue or the next venue. If you want to go to the other one, you got to go the next day. They said they may change if the situation changes, but that will probably not happen because this is planned for December 30th and 31st. So it's unlikely the situation is going to improve so much. Pandemic will be absolutely gone by then. Still, things in Japan are improving, But gone, it's not going to be gone. Actually, if the numbers keep going the way they are, we could get down to low numbers by February when they want to do the GoTo travel, which actually might be okay. This might be the closest I've ever come to approving GoTo travel. Okay, so I'm going to do this story. This is out of order. This is more what I planned. But because I just talked about Comiket, so I could make like my Naruto fan fiction comic and draw it myself, and I could sell it at small batches at Comiket, and I will not get in trouble. There's an unwritten rule that if you're just doing it because you're a fan, if you're just doing it and you only make a tiny bit of money, like this isn't your income, that comic companies and these animation companies will overlook it. In the same vein, if you are making it your primary income, those companies will become very litigious very suddenly and come after you, as a woman found out by selling unlicensed Demon Slayer cakes. Last week we talked about a guy who got arrested for selling mouse pads. So I think he was just taking the art and pasting it onto the mouse pad and selling it. This lady, what happens is you would take like a screenshot or a picture, or you would get something off the internet of the character you want. You send it to her, and then she would draw the character in chocolate on the cake, and then sell it to you. She primarily promoted via Instagram, and then you could send her a DM through Instagram, and then she would make the cake and send it to you. In 2019, she started chocolate drawings of characters on the cake. I bet if she just did it for promo and didn't take orders, this would have been okay. But people would send the image she wanted, and she charged 13,000 to 15,000 yen, and over the course of a few years made 6.5 million yen, which isn't terrible. I don't know how much people who make cakes make. That doesn't sound too bad. When she was arrested, she said, "I knew what I was doing was wrong. I didn't think I'd be able to sell ordinary cakes." Which is too bad, because clearly if she was doing the characters properly, she had some talent. And if she had some talent, she could have drawn other stuff and sold those cakes. And again, I think if she did one or two every now and then, like special request, I think she wouldn't have gotten in trouble. But you're not ripping off anime companies your life's work in Japan, because they'll come after you. Uma Musume has come up a couple of times recently, and I actually promised viewers I would play it and then never played it, so I feel weirdly guilty every time it comes up. The Uma Musume developer says to the fans, "Please don't make sexy artwork of our horsewomen." Now, they don't say it that specifically, but the problem is, so this was a blog post, the problem is a great deal of the derivative work could damage the reputation of the real world horses that the girls are based on, which now takes Uma Musume to a new, weirder level. Because I thought the idea, here's a girl who's supposed to be a horse, so she has like horse ears and like a tail, and then you train her and race her like a racehorse. That was weird. Okay, like I thought, oh, yeah, that's odd that they're going to, but I mean, it's also a very Japanese thing to have like the cat girls and stuff. Then finding out that those girls are based on real horses just adds another level of to it. Because I assume this is what happened. The artist went out and he looked at the horse and he tried to capture the essence of the horse in the anime girl. And then they put that girl in the game, and then you play the game and you train your horses, and it's all very fun, I'm sure. I'm sure it's one of the best games ever made. And then fans, they fall in love with the girl character that is based on a real horse. So in a weird way, they're falling in love with the actual horse. And then they create creepy, dirty, sexy art of the girl having sexual intercourse. I don't know. When I looked at this article, there was one of the girl having sex with a horse. The meta level there is, in a weird way, she's based off a horse and the horse is based off a horse, and they could be based off the same horse. And now the girl's having sex with herself as a horse. It's weird, right? So the levels there, they just keep going. It's like an onion, you keep pulling back. Why you would ever peel an onion like that, I don't know. So they're saying they're worried about damaging the reputation of the real world horses the weird, creepy anime girls are based off of. So please don't make dirty, dirty art of them. But this is often something that maybe people don't realize. That's not how the internet works. If you say, please don't do this, some people will do it more. So let's say I found creepy, dirty anime girl art of me. So someone said, oh, there's Peter. Let's make a character of Peter that's a cute girl. I don't know why you do that, but then I don't know why you do that for a horse. And then I went online and went, hey, I saw this cute girl. I was really pleased with the cute girl that's Pita-chan. But please don't put Pita-chan in, compromising positions, because that would be bad. And it would maybe make me feel like I'd been put in a compromising position or something like that. Then I assume in the next 3 minutes, someone has made that art. That art has been made. It's been done. Do not do that. You can't challenge the internet to not do something, because the internet will pick up the challenge. They had actually said something similar in 2018, but because they had to reiterate it this year, clearly it didn't work out the first time. People didn't listen. Also, I didn't know the game was that old. 2018 was a long time ago for the game. So I'm actually kind of surprised about that part. Since we're on anime and manga, a mangaka, ironically, has started complaining of the restrictive work environment that they live in. They made a tweet, and the tweet said, eroticism is no more. The restrictions are getting stricter and stricter. And then they deleted that, probably because their, overlords at work saw it and were like, don't complain that your sexy art can't be sexy enough or we'll fire you. Which shows that there are two schools of thought. It actually might be that this manga person, is the kind of person who would make sexy art of horse girls. Pulling all those stories in together. Which is crazy. That's it. So there's a new style of stalking. And this was interesting because I would never have thought of this. I tend to think of myself as a relatively intelligent person. I have interesting and new ideas sometimes. They never happen, whatever, that's fine. But I guess I have never tried to stalk someone. So if I tried to stalk someone, I really put my mind to it. I deep down inside, I believe I would do a good job of stalking. I think I would do a good job at anything if I put my mind to it, because I'm considerate, I'm thorough, I'm thoughtful, and I have drive. But I can honestly say I never would have thought of this. So a man, he was 55. He met a woman who worked at a restaurant. She's 39. And of course, she's paid to be nice to him, and he's never had that before. So he's like, ooh, she loves me, and therefore I love her. Somehow, this is a big somehow, he found her bank account information. And he started making 1 yen transfers to her. Now, when you make a direct bank-to-bank transfer, there is a comment section. Like you say, I'm paying for the services rendered. This is for invoice number 15 whatever. In that section, where you can put what the transfer is for, he started putting, let's talk. And then he would send 1 yen transfers, 1 yen transfers, 1 yen transfers. Let's talk. Then after a while, he switched to pay me back, pay me back, pay me back. So he was getting upset that he was spending his 1 yen on the transfer and losing that money when she didn't chat back to him. Apparently, he never broke 100 yen. So as experiment-wise, cost-wise, this actually wasn't bad. I immediately was like, there has to be a fee for even a 1 yen transfer, which is going to be more than 1 yen. But I guess it was just part of his system. Maybe they went to the same bank. So within the same bank system, it's free. I don't know. Then he appeared at her house. So she called the cops. The sad part for him, more than anything else, is that the bank records are going to be rock solid record of the fact that he was trying to contact her over and over again. And it was really weird and creepy. And absolutely, he is going to get arrested for being a creepy, creepy stalker. A survey was done by Marco, not a guy. Marco is an underwear company. And it's a women's underwear company. And they decided they wanted to survey and find out what is the preferred color of underwear. So they surveyed 800 people, 400 men and 400 women. So it was 50-50 split. For women, I only did the top 5 because after that, who cares? The number 5, we'll go reverse order, is beige. Absolutely not. Unless you're trying to trick someone into thinking you're not wearing underwear from a distance. I've never liked beige underwear. If you could get underwear that matches your skin tone exactly, that'd be interesting. But I don't know. Number 4 is light blue. That's fine. I'm fine. Number 3 is white. I have never been a fan of white underwear just because of the possibility of accidents and griminess. I love white clothes, but white clothes get dirty so fast you have to throw them away. So I almost never wear white clothes. Number 2 is pink, which is very feminine, which is fine. Number 1 is black, which Ninja News Japan is officially on board with. So thank you, ladies. The top 5 for men. Number 5 is blue. Acceptable. Number 4 is light blue. It's a bit much. Number 3 is pink. I guess if you're into that, like, pink is a bit immature for me. So if we're stripping down to our underwears, we're gonna like bang boots, and you know, I just thought of some really gross terms that I'm not gonna say out loud. I would want a more. I'm old. So I would want a more mature woman. And pink, it's not really my thing. That's all. Number 2 is black. So that was the group I would be in. Number 1 is white, which I've already kind of made my statements about. That in itself was vaguely interesting, but the more interesting part for me was the question, do you have lucky undies? So do you have underwear that you wear, I guess, when you're going to get lucky? Or when you want to get lucky. If you've gotten someone down to the point where you're seeing their underwear, I don't think it's luck anymore. I think you've sealed that deal. Unless you really mess it up, which I have heard stories of. I actually have a story, but I'm not going to tell it because it's embarrassing because I'm a dummy sometimes. Women have lucky undies. 13.3% of the people surveyed. So that was 400 women. So 13% would be, well, let's just say 13. So just 26 women. 400, no. So that would only be 200. So 26 times 2, 40, 50. So 50, let's just say 55. We'll round off the 0.3%. 55 women out of the 400 had lucky underwear. So I guess they wore that when they wanted to, like we're gonna tonight. For the men, much lower number, 6.5%. Men's underwear is far less interesting, though. Since the advent of the boxer briefs, I don't think there's actually been another underwear choice. Tighty whities should never be seen. I don't understand how it's even still a thing. Boxers, I guess I would sleep in those, but I wore boxers for a while and they just bunch up in your pants. And then sometimes you get like, I think it was visible, the women talking about visible panty lines. If you're wearing boxers and your pants are even a little bit snug, you actually can see like ripples of material under there, which is not cool, which is where the boxer brief comes in. I have Under Armour ones. I went to Canada because Japan is very hard for me to buy underwear because, should I make a big penis joke? Anyways, the sizes are too small. It's hard for me to get big size. It's probably just my butt's too big. So last time I went to Canada, I just went and found Under Armour black boxer briefs that I could work out in. They were like tight-ish, but not tight. And I bought like 4 boxes of 3, something like that. But like basically, I just have one. It looks like I would have one pair of underwear I wear every single day because I have so many I could wear it throughout the week and into the next week without any trouble at all. Because it's just too hard to find underwear. And men's underwear is one of the few items that is more expensive for men than women. And I think it's because men buy less underwear overall. So that's interesting. So when they talk about the pink tax where stuff for women is more expensive, it's only specific items. And it's actually often items that men do not buy at all. And I don't want to say it's like women's fault, but if the men's product is just as good, you should just buy the men's product. And hey, you want to know something that's actually quite cute? Women wearing men's boxer briefs. So, weird piece of advice for Ninja News Japan to end on, but I am going to end there and move on and play the outro song.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts. You can also watch on YouTube/Velocipodcast or streaming on twitch.tv/chunkmcbeefchest. You can find Ninja News Japan on Facebook. Send questions or comments to speakpipe.com/Velocipodcast. Link in the description. Check out all the podcasts in the Velocipodcast family. See McB, Ninja News Japan, and Daily Affirmations Weekly. After transferring the first 50 or 60 yen and not getting a response, you think the guy would be like, okay, cut my losses. But spending more money to demand your money back pretty much shows that he wasn't a sensible person. I guess sensible people don't get arrested for stalking.